Hello and welcome to Date Night with the Deglers. I'm Jennifer Degler,
And I'm Jeff Degler. Welcome.
and we're so glad you're here. We have some interesting questions to
We
talk
do.
about tonight, one
We
of
do.
which is a very common question we get about sex after infidelity in a marriage. But before we answer questions, I want to let you know, say hello in the comments section, maybe where you're watching from, because that will enter you to win this fabulous
Woo!
$10 Amazon gift card.
$10.
$10
Oh, my goodness.
on Amazon. Hello,
crazy.
Nicole. Hey, Sharon. We're glad you're watching. So this enters you to win that. And at the end of tonight's broadcast, actually, I'm going to go back through. We're going to go back through and pick a winner. Normally, it is Emily Wormnest, who is behind the scenes.
Yep.
She's our social media coordinator, and she picks the winners, but she's on a date with her husband
Oh, good for her.
tonight.
Good for
So
her.
it's just us picking the winners.
Good.
So, hey, Vanessa. Oh, Nicole's watching in Florida. Hello. Hey, Joycelyn. We're so glad you're watching. Hey, Brittany. Hey, Chloe. So I'm glad you're saying hello because that enters you gals to win this Amazon gift card. And while we're waiting for some more people to get on, you want to tell them what we've been doing lately as a couple?
Well, I bought a set of golf clubs last year, and in earnest, this year, I've been playing golf on a pretty regular basis. And lo and behold, Jennifer,
I'm taking golf lessons.
she just got her own clubs. She just completed her first clinic with, 4 or 5
I
lessons?
have 4 lessons.
4 lessons. So we have been out to some par 3 courses. We're going out this weekend to play some golf. So it's been very fun to pick up something new and just to see a different environment. I mean, I love the golf course environments. They're beautiful wherever you go. And there's several that we go to around Lexington. It just seems to be a great place to play golf. There's golf everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's a great driving range. It's fairly close to our house. So it's been really fun. And how fun is it to share something new together? I mean, this is great. So we share this with you because perhaps you've got somebody in your family and they play golf and you've had zero interest and your wife has had zero interest.
That would have been us.
That was us. That was exactly us.
Until Sharon's watching, who is Sharon Line is she is our son-in-law's mother, and our new son-in-law is a scratch golfer. And so since we were like, well, we want to have some way to do stuff with him and be a part of that with him.
Yeah.
And so all the Deglers are getting into golfing.
All of us, yeah. Jake plays.
I don't think
love it.
we'll ever catch up to Dylan, but that's okay. It's something fun for us to do. So, and Sharon says she's proud of me. So Sharon can golf with her. So hello, Jim and Diane. They're watching from Chicago. Chloe is making homemade pizza for her and her husband to eat
Nice.
while they watch this.
Nice.
That's so great. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Joan. We're so glad that you all are watching. So again, if you're just joining us, say hello. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments section so you're entered to win this $10 Amazon gift card, which we will give away
Yep.
at the end. And let's see. This first question, and I really do want to hear from you guys. And look, Joycelyn's watching with her husband Wendell, so that's fun.
Welcome, Wendell.
Welcome. We love it when men watch too. We love that.
Yep.
This is a question we get a lot, and usually, so we do date nights once a month here on Facebook Live, and we always ask people for marriage, parenting, and sex questions. We didn't get any parenting questions this time, but a sex question that's also a marriage question that we get pretty much every time is, what do I do after my spouse has cheated on me or my spouse has been looking at pornography and then we're supposed to be sexually intimate? And what do you do? How do you heal from that? And I just want to read you just some, these are different questions that people have sent in. Here's somebody that says, how can I want to be intimate with my husband or even desire him sexually after he's had sex with other women and been in online chat rooms, texting with other women? I feel like our sex life isn't special anymore, and I feel cheated by him. And she says, I know my husband needs sex and wants to feel desired, but now it's hard for her to be vulnerable and to feel safe and comfortable. Somebody else who says, is it right for me to question, I want to have sex with my husband, but he's had a struggle with pornography. And he says he's no longer struggling with pornography, but he hasn't been in an accountability partnership. And now I'm wondering, it's hard to be sexually vulnerable with him because I don't know that he's telling me the truth. Somebody else just saying, I want to be physical with my husband again, but I don't know if I can trust him. And, these are wives writing in, but this could go the other way. This can be a husband saying, I don't know if I can trust my wife.
Yep.
And so how do you heal after there has been betrayal? And how do you restore your sexual relationship when your spouse has been unfaithful to you, either through an actual physical relationship with another person or an emotional affair, or through looking at pornography? So I know this is a really sensitive topic to talk about, but we would love to hear what you guys have to say. Any words of wisdom that you might have, whether you've been through this personally or you haven't been through this personally. Chances are you know someone that has. So what tips, what suggestions, what insights could you offer to help people on that journey towards healing in this area? So hey, Susan, we're glad you're watching, and Michaela. So do you have any thoughts on this about how to heal after infidelity?
I know one of the questions was, a wife was asking, if my husband hasn't disclosed to anybody and he does not have any kind of accountability, how can I trust him? And I think that's a good point to raise. I don't necessarily have a good answer. I do feel like that in this situation, the spouse is probably right to question whether the husband is truly sincere. For him just to say, I don't really have a problem with it anymore, but he is too embarrassed, or whatever the issue is, he will not disclose to any of his friends. And, there's a couple questions I've had, does a guy like this, does this guy have any friends? And if he has any friends, how come you struggle with intimacy with your other guy friends? I have been in some small groups in the past, and I have had men acknowledge that they've had trouble in this area. And my experience with these guys, I really appreciate what they have to say, because they didn't beat around the bush, or they weren't subtle about it. They were right at the beginning saying, it's been a problem in my marriage. I need for you guys to help me to stay accountable. And I like that. And I'm like, I think that's great, because I do think iron sharpens iron. And it could be, that, you don't feel comfortable sharing something like that, maybe with a friend or, a pastor, that's uncomfortable for you. But I think if you seek, you can find. And I think if you pray about it and, you're like, Lord, I just don't know who I could disclose something like that to. Just pray about it and see if the Lord will reveal somebody. And it could be maybe that you have to actually go see a counselor or somebody. And, and you do that on a regular basis, and they'll hold you accountable. So I do think accountability for all of us is a good thing to have. And we need to be genuine, and we need to be authentic, and we need to share our lives, not only with our spouses, but with our community of people. I think it's really important. We can help each other.
Yeah, to do life together with other people. And if you have a hard time trusting other people, that can feel really scary. But if there's been trust broken in your marriage, then you have to provide opportunities to rebuild trust. And when your spouse sees you, okay, I'm talking, I have this accountability partner, I'm going to my counselor, I'm doing things that show I want to become a more trustworthy person, then it's easier for that healing to happen. It's really hard to trust just if somebody goes, it's not a problem for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's sort of like saying end of discussion.
Well, it sounds like, I don't really want to put a lot of effort, which then makes you wonder, okay, how much effort are you willing to put into this if you're not willing to put any kind of effort into accountability in, an area that's been a struggle. So it just makes sense.
Yeah. So, I saw where Melissa had suggested counseling. And then Chloe says, get to a place where you can truly forgive. It's okay if it takes a long time to get there, but you can't be intimate and vulnerable with someone you haven't forgiven. And even though it's hard, don't let yourself bring it up as a default during fights. That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Because if you're the person, if you're the offender, and you feel like that other person they can always pull that out, and it's their trump card.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times you've asked for forgiveness, no matter how much work you've done, they pull it out and say, but you did the cardinal sin.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter anything else I may say or do that's hurtful.
Yeah.
You are the worst person in this marriage.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up, Chloe. She says, not that you can't continue talking through and working through it, but once you forgive, don't define them by that mistake. Yeah, I don't know about you, Chloe, but I don't want to be defined by the worst thing I ever did. And I don't think anyone should be defined by the worst thing they ever did. And that what's so wonderful about a relationship with Jesus Christ is that through him, we are no longer defined by our sins. And so, but our tendency when we've been hurt by somebody is to keep defining them that way. Let me see what else people said. Kathleen says, great sound this evening. She can hear us really well.
Good.
Jeff sets all the sound stuff up. There's a boom mic over the top of us and studio lights. He gets this all sounding good. Hey, Valerie. Yes, Chloe says, amen. That's not love, to not allow your spouse to be freed by God's grace. Yeah. And I do want to just offer some words of encouragement to, if that's you, if you are like trying to recover from infidelity. The statistics say that it takes between 2 and 5 years for a couple to recover from an affair. 2 to 5 years. But what I find is that after about 6 months after an affair is disclosed, people want to just be done with it. Or one person, a lot of times the person who actually had the affair, they just want the other person to be over it. And so when I'm working with couples where there's been infidelity, just to say, hey, this is going to take a lot longer than you think it's going to take. And rushing the process or refusing to talk through it is not going to help. It's like if you take a beach ball and you're trying to push it under the water in the ocean and just push it down. Eventually that thing's going to come popping up.
Yeah.
So you can't just push this down and think, okay, this isn't going to affect us, because it'll pop up in your marriage in other ways. And I have some things to recommend.
Okay.
Some resources for you all to recommend to you. And I will come back when this is over, and I will put those in the description of this video when we post this video. I actually had a description that had the questions in it, and it kind of disappeared at the beginning of this video. So I'll add that too, but I'll add all of these resources. So one of them is my Tip Talk with Dr. Jennifer Degler podcast. We recorded a really good podcast called Overcoming Porn Addiction, where
Excellent.
Yeah, I interviewed Mark and Angela Day about their journey. He was addicted to pornography as a pastor, and they offer great resources too. Really neat couple. There's a great ministry called Be Broken, BeBroken.com. That's Jonathan Daughtery's ministry. It's a Christian ministry for men that are dealing with pornography addiction or unwanted sexual, having affairs, that sort of thing. They have a wives care program there as well, so I'll give a link to that. Dr. Carol Erb, she has a program called From Betrayal to Healing, which helps walk Christian wives through that healing process after there's been a betrayal from pornography or a betrayal from an affair. There's also a great book called How to Help Your Spouse Heal from Your Affair, a compact manual for the unfaithful. It's a little bitty book. It really is a compact manual. You can get it read in an hour or two and you're done with it, by Linda McDonald. It's not a specifically Christian book, but there's nothing in there that would be offensive to Christians. But it is a book written to people who have had an affair, specifically saying these are the things you need to do to rebuild trust. So it's great for both people to read it, and it's a really helpful handbook. And then there's also a newer book out, fascinating book called Unwanted: How Sexual Brokenness Reveals Our Way to Healing by Jay Stringer. And that is encouraging people to look beyond accountability, as important as accountability is, that it is helpful to get into counseling and to really look at, okay, if accountability is not enough and I keep finding myself compelled, just feel this compulsion to go back to pornography, compulsion to start up an affair with somebody else, then there's some real brokenness in there. And we need to look and heal that brokenness, or else the compulsion will just continue.
Yeah.
And so that's a really useful Christian book as well. Was there something you wanted to say, baby?
The only other thing I wanted to point out is, the wife is saying, should I be concerned, that my husband is not seeking out accountability? I think it's important that you tell your husband or your spouse that this is important to you and ask them to figure something out. Tell them, just have the conversation. You don't need to be on his back all the time saying, where are you? But I do think it is definitely fair game to say, look, I feel like you've got to have some accountability. You've got to have somebody that you're talking to. And I'd like for you to figure it out. And then when you figure it out, maybe we could talk about it too. And, we could do the journey together. But if you think he's just going to figure it out and you're upset because he doesn't seek out any accountability, but you don't say anything, then he's probably not going to figure it out. So if that's important and you feel like that would be beneficial to him, tell him. I mean, I can tell you from the guy's perspective, we are not that intuitive. we like for our spouses just to share their hearts with us and what it is they think that we need. And not that we always have to do lockstep, whatever they say that we need.
Oh, you do everything I say.
Of course I do. Of course I do.
Doesn't.
But I do feel like it's important that you be open to having that conversation with your spouse.
Well, and I appreciate what you said about being on the journey together, and that if it's so important as a couple that you both seek your own healing. And so even if your spouse because sometimes people just dig their heels in and say, I'm not going to talk to a counselor. I'm not reading a book. I'm not getting I'm not doing anything. I'm fine. Mm-hmm. You still go. You go see a counselor. You read a book. You do your own work and your own healing, because you matter too. And hopefully that can be a positive influence in your marriage and possibly on your spouse, but we can't change other people. Mm-hmm. But you can be a catalyst for change. Yep. And you can certainly, that will help you. Anything you're doing to help your own heart to heal is good. It's good for your marriage. It's good for your family. It's good for the world. It's good for the body of Christ to do that. I see where Stephanie says Unwanted. I've heard loads of good things about that book. Who was the author again? His name is Jay Stringer, like a stringer. And on Java with Julie, which is Dr. Julie Slattery's podcast, that's AuthenticIntimacy.com. It's their podcast, which is excellent. They have a lot of information on there as well. They've done podcasts where they've interviewed Jonathan Daughtery, other people. They've interviewed Jay Stringer. That's how I came across his book, was through that. So, that's a good resource for you as well, Java with Julie. Look that up on your podcast platform. Mainly, though, we just want to tell you, don't give up and keep working towards healing. Yeah. And if your spouse will not partner with you in the journey, then you go on that journey yourself, because you need healing too from what has happened. So, and we'd be honored to pray for you. Mm-hmm. You can always message us privately through Facebook or Jennifer at jenniferdegler.com, and we will pray for you. We would be honored to do that. We would. Very much so. Okay, so let's see. Kathleen says she loves Java with Julie. Yeah, she really likes that podcast. Hey, and Kathleen, one of the things that's going on, Authentic Intimacy. So last year they had their Reclaim Sexuality Conference, and this year they can't do it in person because of social distancing and COVID. So they're doing Reclaim 2.0, and it's going to be all digital, and it's going to be free. And that's going to be like September I think it's like the 17th, 18th, and 19th. And
That's cool.
yeah, so it'll be free during those days, and you can watch. They're going to be interviewing a lot of people. They've interviewed me. I'm doing a live Q&A on that Friday, the 18th, September the 18th, at noon. So if you have questions, but you can go to AuthenticIntimacy.com, get more information about that, and we'll be posting more information about that here on the Dr. Jennifer Degler Facebook page. So, Julie is watching from New Mexico.
Ooh.
So let's see, what time would it be in New Mexico? So what
2
about,
hours behind us.
okay, so about 6:20 out there in New Mexico. You want to give something away?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, this will be different. Okay, well, since we were talking about golf, let's give away this Dick's golf card.
Yeah.
Or it's
Plenty
just
of stuff.
a gift card. So it actually is for Golf Galaxy, for Dick's, or for Field and Stream.
Plenty of good stuff.
And so if you could you all start posting, if you could just snap your fingers and be really, really good at a sport, which sport would you pick? If you could just be really, really good at a sport, which one would you pick?
It's pretty much happened to me with the golf.
Yeah, he's real good. Real good. So
Absolutely not.
yeah. I'm having fun. Isn't that the main thing? Don't y'all give me a thumbs up if you think the main thing is to have fun with that sport, not necessarily to be the best person ever at that sport. And as long as you're having fun,
Yes.
see the blue thumbs up. People agree it's about having fun with that sport. So I'm glad, because I don't think I'm going to be that great of a golfer, but I am having fun. And golfing has really cute clothing. And
truth comes
I am
out.
spending a lot of time looking online at cute golf clothing. So, okay, so let's look at the sports that people are posting about that they would love to be really good at. Let's see. Gina's watching there in Connecticut, and Amy's up there in Indiana. Lisa's watching from Texas. Hey, Lisa.
Baseball.
Vanessa says she'd be good at basketball. Joycelyn, Wendell says golf. We should golf with Wendell. Joycelyn, do you golf? You should learn to golf, and then we can all golf together. Brittany says, does yoga count? Absolutely.
Yeah.
They sell yoga stuff at Dick's. Julie says baseball. That's her husband's answer. He would pick baseball. Stephanie says tennis. Lisa says softball. Amy says rollerblade or tennis. We were rollerblading's coming back in
Yeah, that's
style
cool.
with COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of people are getting back into rollerblade. Valerie would do basketball. She's a good Kentucky gal. Stephanie says baseball. Gina says swimming. Julie says dancing.
That's
Diane
great.
says that her husband Jim says swimming. Kathleen says canoeing. Is that a sport?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure, anything.
They sell canoes. Well, I don't know if they sell canoes at Dick's, but they sell paddles.
I don't know about a sport, but
Gina
it's
says
definitely an outing.
dancing. Melissa says she loves the golf clothes too. Absolutely. It's one of my favorite things about golf so far. And she says golf. Chloe says yoga, and Joycelyn says Wendell was given some golf clubs. Okay,
Nice.
so who do you want to pick, baby? You pick somebody.
Let's do the swimmer.
The swimmer. Okay, so who was the swimmer?
Up.
It was up. Okay. Gina Doheny. Gina, you have won this gift card. It's $5 gift card.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
yeah, you can buy some swim stuff.
Buy
Half
swim
a pair of
cap.
goggles.
Half a goggles.
You can buy a monocle.
You can buy some earplugs with your $5 gift card. So, Gina, message us your mailing address and tell us that you won the Dick's gift card, so I'll know which one to mail to you, and we'll get that in the mail to you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, so before we do our next question, I have something I want to open on the air. So Lee Nienhuis, who is an author and speaker friend, mailed me a copy of her new book. Aren't you all excited? I'm excited just to see her. And there's more than that in it. This is one of the fun parts about being a speaker and an author, is that other people mail you their books. So so here is her new book, and it's backwards to you all, but it says Countercultural Parenting, Building Character in a World of Compromise. And she is the host of the Moms in Prayer podcast, and she is such a wonderful, warm, neat person. I am so excited to read this book, and I think this is so appropriate. It says on the back, change can happen in our culture, it can happen in our homes and in our children, but it starts with us. Boy,
That's good.
isn't that good? So this book, you're going to get tools to model godly characteristics and biblical values in your own life and home. You're going to energize your family to recognize the world's lies and devote yourself to truth, and entrust your children's future to God through consistent, powerful prayer. So if you need a book about praying for your kids and really how to just raise your kids in a way that is so they don't come out like the world, they come out more like Jesus. So I'm excited to read this. And then look what else she gave me. There's other stuff in here. Look, I got a t-shirt. Oh, this is so cute.
That'd be good for golfing.
It says revivalist, and then it says revival starts here in the home. So this is
good
cool.
For golfing.
Good for golfing. Yeah. So this is really cool. So thank you, Lee. Again, Countercultural Parenting by Lee Nienhuis. So I'm
I think
excited.
we definitely, raising our kids, we definitely did some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and she gave me like this day-by-day character calendar thing. So this looks really good. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Okay, here is our next question. And we want to hear what you all have to say about this. How can I gently and kindly tell my husband that I'd like to see him put some effort into his appearance? Like with nicely groomed hair, clothes that look nice. He will not buy himself anything, and if I buy him something, he tells me he doesn't need it and he won't wear it. It's been 10 years since high school, and I'm pretty sure half his wardrobe is that old. This is sounding familiar. In terms of the wardrobe, you're very clean. You are very clean, but your wardrobe. I'd like better grooming and hygiene. And if he smelled nice once in a while, I would love that. I'm not trying to be shallow, but I'm unattracted to his lack of effort that he puts into himself. He may be able to say the same about me lately since COVID has hit and I'm not really going anywhere, but this has been an ongoing issue for me. So even before COVID, this is an issue. When he gets a haircut, it absolutely drives me wild and I'm so attracted to him. So when he does clean up and get his hair cut and put some effort, she's so sexually attracted to him. But how do you, so we want to hear what you all have to say as well. What do you say? How do you tell? And it could be a husband telling a wife this. We've talked about this before. When it was the wife, then the husband was saying, I'm not as attracted to her because she's not taking care of herself. So how do you bring that up with your spouse in a respectful way and let them know really that you just would so appreciate if they would put more time and energy into their hygiene and into their appearance, and that it's affecting your attraction to them. Any thoughts on how do you bring that up with a man?
Well, the part about the hygiene, the first thing that I thought of, okay, if he's not cleanly enough for you, then what you need to do is say, hey, big boy, let's go take a shower together. And that will hopefully solve the problem. And,
that is a classic
do it more
Jeff
often.
Degler solution right there. Take a shower. That's actually really clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, is to say, get in the shower with me. So
I mean, I'm not a person that buys, a lot of clothes either. I do take a lot of showers. I think Saturday I took 3 showers.
yes.
Just because I'm just doing a lot of different things. So I like taking showers. And as far as, being well manicured, I'm on the low maintenance program, baby.
He does not require a lot of mirror time.
No.
At all. He
comb.
He doesn't even own a comb.
Nope.
Which is actually kind of nice. I always recommend to girls when they're dating, date a bald man because you'll know exactly what you're getting. There'll be no surprises, and they don't take a lot of mirror time. So let's see. Nikki says plan date nights at a fancy restaurant that require a certain dress code. So Nikki, that's a great idea. Like if you're not going anywhere or doing anything, then we can get real slouchy. And I know in April when I wasn't allowed to work in my office and I was just at home literally all the time. I just wore the same 2 pair of sweatpants. I would get dressed up from here up, and I would do my hair and makeup because I was on Zoom calls with clients. But it's real easy to get real slouchy if you're not going out a lot and having a reason to do that. Let's see. Valerie says, okay, what if you suggest dressing up and going out together? Let's look our best and enjoy a night out. Yeah, so that there's a reason. Because for some people, if they're just going to be at home, they just want to be comfortable. And they may not be aware of how that comfort has slipped from comfort over into just like you kind of look like a slob, which is not very attractive. So that's a great suggestion. Gina says, tell him, I love the way blank looks on you. Express that. It puts you in the mood. Yeah, Gina, that's such a great point to make sure you're saying it. Like, gee, you know what I would love? I would love it if you would wear that blue shirt. It just brings out the blue in your eyes, and it just reminds me of how handsome you are. That goes over better than saying, why are you wearing that old ripped t-shirt again? I'm so sick of seeing you in that.
Yeah.
But if you talk about what you do like and what does please you, and we do hear a lot when you work in the field of sexuality. You do hear from women a lot saying that it's a turnoff because their husband either isn't brushing his teeth or not shaving, or not taking a shower.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why is it that men would not do those sorts of things.
I don't know. I do want to, for this particular spouse that wrote this question, I do think, you need to make sure that you tell your husband, I value that, you're taking showers, your cleanliness, you're brushing your teeth or whatever. And if he's not doing something to your satisfaction and you think he ought to be figuring that out, just tell him. Tell him it's important to you. Tell him, that you value that and you would like for him to step up his game. And I would like to think that the guy would respond. He'll buy some new clothes. He'll put some more effort into doing more with his hair, maybe parting it on the other side like I do from time to time.
Yes.
He'll just try some different things. I don't know.
Well, and also I think it's helpful to ask and say, okay, what does it feel like to you when you do get new clothes? What does it feel like to you when I ask you to get more dressed up? And because there's a reason. I mean, there's a reason why he's not wanting to wear new clothes. There's a reason why maybe he's not taking as many showers and to seek to understand for that, like, what is it like for them? And understand them rather than just say, I don't like how you are and you need to change.
Yeah.
But to understand why is he making those choices? And it's always helpful if we like to use that phrase, compassionate curiosity, where you ask because you really want to understand your spouse, not so much just like, why are you doing that? Because then, that's communicating, you idiot. But if you really are just compassionately curious, help me understand why it's hard for you don't like buying new clothes. Help me understand why you don't like taking a shower every day,
why you won't shave.
Yeah, and see what they have to say so that you understand one another better. That's a better place to have a conversation and help shift somebody possibly to seeing your point of view and your perspective. If you've taken the time to understand their perspective. I
like the comment too that we got. Plan a date and get dressed up and say, hey, this is gonna be fun, and we're gonna go out and blow it out, and we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna dress up. I mean, that sounds great right now, actually.
Yeah.
To be able to go out and do that, depending on where you're at and
what your comfort level with being out and maybe sitting outside. It's even fun, even if you're just gonna have a picnic in your own backyard.
Yeah.
But to just say, let's get out of our t-shirt and shorts and just do something more fun.
Yeah.
So, and whenever you can, listen, I've always found if you really want your man to change, if you will make sure whenever he makes any effort towards that change that you want, if you just really acknowledge that, pour on the praise, and have sex with the man, that goes a long, long way.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Okay, so you want to give something else away?
Sure.
Okay, so this is one for the ladies. Because I went to, it's Ulta.
Oh.
It's an Ulta. I had to go to Ulta. Remember?
Like Ulta, what's that?
Well, Ulta. So to get some, because we're talking about getting yourself fixed up.
Perfect.
And so sometimes guys are wishing that she would get a little more fixed up. So here's a little $5 gift card to help you ladies get a little fixed up there at Ulta. So ladies, how about you post, what products, like if you went to, or why don't you start posting about like what is your favorite either makeup product or hair product, or like Ulta has a beauty salon there. So what's your favorite thing to get done at a hair salon or a nail salon? But just kind of post about, yeah, this is a product I love to use, or a service that I love to get when I go to the salon. And then we'll go through and you can pick somebody to get the Ulta gift card, so they can do a little hygiene fixing up on themselves.
Fixer up.
You could, and they sell stuff here for men. So you
Not
could,
much.
but they do. They do have stuff for men here.
Okay.
So you could even buy something for that man that you want to be more fixed
I'd like
up.
some hair gel.
Yeah. Well, you do. You like that tea tree stuff.
I do like that.
He likes that tea tree stuff. So let's see what some people are saying here. So let's see. Lisa says, looks are not my first priority when I see someone. In fact, my husband can shave or cut his hair, and it will take 2 or 3 days for me to notice.
Perfect.
Oh, that's funny, Lisa. Let's see. Sunny says, yay for the ladies. She's glad there's something for the ladies. Joycelyn says she likes any smell good lotions. Me too, Joycelyn. I love a little something good smelling. Chloe says she loves face mask. Sunny loves nail polish. It makes her feel more dressed up. Sunny, I am going to get a pedicure tomorrow. I'm excited. I don't do nail polish, but I always have polish on my toes. So, and let's see, Brittany says mascara. She loves having long lashes. Isn't it amazing, Brittany, the difference that mascara makes? Don't you agree, honey, the difference mascara makes? Gina says microdermabrasion. Vanessa likes to get her nails and her feet done. Nikki says, I love the Kenra brand hair products. I even got my mom using it now. Kenra, I've not heard of that. I've checked that out. Angela says mascara. Julie says she likes pretty fingernails. Valerie loves a nice French tip manicure. And Diane says humectress conditioner. Okay, so babe, you get to pick somebody. Who?
Sunny. I like that name.
You like the name Sunny?
Sunny.
Okay, so Sunny.
Nope, go down.
There she is, nail polish.
Yep, there you go.
So there you go. Let's see. I think a bottle of OPI nail polish is $8. So now, Sunny, you've got your $5 to go towards buying you some nail polish. So message us your mailing address and that you won the Ulta gift card, and I'll get that in the mail to you. And let's see. So last question. Okay. And this is a good one for being home a lot now. My husband's love language is physical touch, while mine is anything but physical touch. How can we compromise when in these days of staying at home and being together a lot, touch feels like an invasion of personal space to me, or is personal space an illusion in marriage? So what do you do if one of you just loves cuddling up and the other one is like,
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
I need a lot of personal space.
It's funny when all this started, a lot of people the papers were saying there's going to be a big baby boom, and, COVID's really, that there's going to be a big boost in the population. And, I just read an article the other day in the paper, and they were saying on the contrary, they feel like that, this is really wreaking havoc on a lot of marriages because people are home and the family so much together that it's very challenging for a lot of families, to have this much time together. And I hope most folks are on the good side of that coin.
But you know what? Even we have a good marriage. We get along well, but I'm ready to see somebody other than
We'll play some golf.
Yeah. That's honestly, it's like, even if you get along well, there's just so much togetherness. And then at the end of the day, what do you talk about? Because you've been together all day versus when you've been going in different places and having different experiences. You know what I miss? I miss missing you. I do.
Well, there's something.
Yeah.
That's something, people.
I would miss you and be, I can't wait until and now we have lots of time together. But what do you do? And so I want to hear from you all as well. What do you do about the whole personal space thing? How can you handle that if one of you really loves to cuddle up and loves lots of touching and the other one doesn't? So let's see. Chloe says she can really relate to that. She's the same. Kathleen says, yes, we're not used to being together all the time like this. It really does take some adjustment. And she understands that too. So How can you compromise? You got any suggestions for how you can compromise?
I mean, one of the things we do, we usually, divide up in the house, and, one's upstairs and one's downstairs. So even though we're in the same house, we do have some physical separation. And, I can be on a call and that's not going to bother Jennifer, or Jennifer could be hosting a Zoom call or writing something, and, that wouldn't bother her then if I'm downstairs or she's downstairs and I'm upstairs, whatever. So you can still create. I've got a friend of mine, and he's got like a family. I think he's got kids in college, and everybody's home, and there's 5 or 6 of them. But he says his house is big enough where they can get the separation that they need. And he told me, Jeff, it's not outside of the realm of me going in the closet, and I'll just go in there and read a magazine, or I'll listen to some music for several hours just to get a break and get some peace and quiet where you could think about some things. So maybe you have to get a little bit creative,
Yeah.
Where you're not looking at one another.
Yeah. And, there was a point near the end of April when we had been home, both of us working from home for a month, where I began to say to Jeff, I need you to get out of the house. I
took it like a man.
He took it like a man. And it wasn't that we were fighting or anything. I was like, I need the house to myself. I really need the house for my own mental health. And I'm not sure where he went or what he did, but he was like, okay. He didn't take it personally. But it was just, I'm an introvert masquerading as an extrovert. And I just wanted to be alone in my own house. And I know some of you have small kids at home and you would pay good money to be alone in your own house. But I think being honest with one another and saying, it's not that I don't love you. And there are times that I maybe do want to, hold your hand or give you a back rub or have some kind of physical affection. But this is a difference between the two of us. And so if it's that person's love language, it's real easy to take it personal and feel like if you don't want my physical affection, you're telling me I don't love you. And that's where you have to have a real conversation about this is not, I am not saying I don't love you. This is just about a personal difference in how much physical touch we want. And when does it, where's the limit? When does it become like this is now something I'm having to endure instead of something? And if your spouse, and then you can work on that and talk about when would be a good time, like when is a good time for you for physical touch? And when is it not a good time? That was something we talked about earlier. Because evidently I have a tendency to just sit down and start talking to Jeff and not actually asking him if it's a good time to talk. We had a little brief moment of intense fellowship prior to this call. We were talking about that. So I'm realizing I need to be more respectful of not just assuming just because he's home that it's always a good time for him to talk. So let me see what some other people
I'm
say.
a big fan, too, of walking. So, if you need some alone time, get out, take a walk. I mean, especially the past couple of days have been so nice.
Yeah, here
Get
in
out.
Kentucky. Let's see. Lisa says, my husband hates cuddling. I love cuddling. Years ago, we made an agreement. I would give him space and respect, but I need hugs. And so if I tell him I need a hug, he'll give it to me and not let go until I let go. Been doing this for years.
Good.
Lisa, I love that because you're asking for what you need. You all had a conversation about it.
Yes.
And I love that agreement that he won't let go of the hug until you let go of the hug.
That's great.
So we tease our son Jake. His love language is physical touch, and so that he'll want to cuddle, and then he'll talk about filling his tank up, and he'll be like 1%. 2%, then it just takes a lot longer to fill that tank up. So don't let go until that person says they're full. Chloe says, my husband is physical touch. I'm words of affirmation. Communication is key. I tell him when I'm all touched out and he gives me space, but I try to be more cuddly when I'm not feeling like a cactus. Ha ha. Yeah, so Chloe, you're making a step towards him when you feel like I have the space for that. I can do that. I've got the bandwidth to cuddle up, but also being honest when
Communication's key.
It is key. It is key. Not because otherwise that resentment builds up.
Yep.
And then the
Very
person
good.
can tell maybe
Yes.
you're touching them, but you don't like it, and you feel resentful. And then this, instead of just being honest. Nikki says, find yard projects for your husband to get him outside.
Get out there.
Get out there, build a barn. Yeah, like, oh, Kathleen likes that, feeling like a cactus. Valerie says, agreed. I have learned the value of communicating the need for time for myself. I love you, but tomorrow evening, can I have a couple of hours?
Yeah.
You know, and I love that,
Communication.
Valerie, that you all are doing that. And particularly now when we're around one another a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so being willing to say that, I just need some time to myself.
Good.
There's nothing wrong with you. I just need time to myself. Stephanie says, when words of affirmation are your love language, then arguing or degrading remarks hurt even more. Yeah, they do, Stephanie, which is why we want to keep those short accounts and keep that communication going so that we don't get so resentful that then angry words burst out. Hey, Tiffany. Yeah, that's what we call arguments, intense moments of fellowship. And Nikki says, and then after yard work, he's all sweaty, so he won't want to cuddle. Nikki, you are a clever girl.
Working it.
I'm a little worried about Nikki.
Working.
Yes, that is
Get
so
out there.
funny, Nikki. Get out there and work. But maybe, Nikki, you could have gone to Ulta and buy him some good smelling stuff, and he'll take a shower, and then you'll be so appreciative of all that yard work that he did that you'll want to have sex with him. See, and then everybody will be happy.
Maybe.
Maybe that's how that works. Okay, so if you haven't posted anything yet, do post real quickly because we're going to go back through and pick a winner of our $10 Amazon gift card. I really appreciate everybody. You all were participating tonight. Thank you for doing that. Yep. Want to let you know our next date night will be Thursday, September the 10th. And we will have just gotten back from, tell them where we're going, for 2 weeks.
Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons and Glacier National Park.
Yes.
How cool is that?
We're so excited.
I hope it happens.
We're going for 2 weeks, and this was supposed to be our 30th anniversary trip, but our 30th anniversary was 3 years ago, and
Procrastination.
it just didn't happen for various and sundry reasons, so it's happening this year.
We hope.
Yes, so we'll be wearing masks in the national parks, watching Old Faithful, but we're excited. My sister Annette and her husband Matt are going to join us, and we're renting camper vans, and so that we don't have to, stay in hotels, and we're really excited about it. I see people giving us thumbs up. They're excited for us to do that.
A new adventure.
Yes, a new adventure. So we'll have lots of stories to share with you all on Thursday, September the 10th, when we're back from our camper van adventure out west in the national parks.
Yep.
So, okay. Chloe says she's loved this. This is the first time she's gotten to watch one all the way through. That's because you made that homemade pizza.
Good.
So Joycelyn says happy 30th. Thank you, Joycelyn. But now it's actually our 33rd anniversary because it took us 3 years to finally get this trip to happen. So, okay. So we need to pick somebody to win this card.
Just scroll that wheel and let it fall.
Scroll. All right. So I'm going to scroll.
No, the other way.
Okay.
Scroll down.
Scroll down? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
All right.
Yep.
Brittany Phelps.
Brittany,
it fell on your name. So, Brittany, if you're still watching, congratulations. Message us your mailing address, and we will mail you your $10 Amazon gift card. And I think that's all of that's all our stuff. So, thank you all for watching Date Night with the Deglers. And we hope you have a great evening. And we'll see you on
September.
Send us your sex, marriage, and parenting questions. We'll store them up and hopefully answer some of them on a Date Night with the Deglers. Bye-bye, guys.
See you, folks.